All right, so today we're going to be looking at vocabulary and we're going to focus on some commonly confused words. These are words that not just second language speakers confuse, but also native speakers confuse as well. So I've chosen a handful and we're going to look at the difference between them, how to use them, and there's going to be a little activity to test your knowledge at the end. So let's get into it. Okay, this ride. Many of us have gone on roller coasters before in the past. Would we say the ride is fun or the ride is funny? Good, the ride is fun. So many people confuse fun and funny. Fun is enjoyable. Funny is something that makes you laugh. All right, what's the difference between these two words, advice and advise? Many times they're used inappropriately in a sentence. So let's have a look at the difference. Advice is a noun, it's the thing. To advise is the verb. So you can hear the difference in pronunciation. Advice, advise. So doctors give advice to patients. It's a verb. It's a noun. They give what? They give advice. Doctors advise the patients. It's a verb. It's something that doctors do. So which word would complete this sentence? Advise or advice? Okay, so I see some different responses, about 50-50. Okay, let's have a look at the structure of the sentence. Be wary of medical something. Medical, what kind of word is medical? Is it a noun, a verb, an adjective? So medical, it's an adjective. Medicine is the noun, all right? Mostly, so words that have AL, medical, historical, geographical, classical, global, words that end in AL are usually adjectives, so that's a clue there, okay? So if medical is an adjective, what normally follows an adjective? Excellent, a noun. And which one of these is the noun? Advise or advice? Good, advice. So you should be wary of medical advice on the internet. All right, well done. What's the difference between health and healthy? So health is a noun, but it can also be used as an adjective in a rare case, and healthy is always only an adjective. So we can say the health food industry is a very lucrative one. The health food industry. Health is a noun, it's the name of a thing, okay? But we can also say health food, which becomes a compound noun, in which case health acts as an adjective. We can also say one should eat healthy food, such as fruits and vegetables. What kind of food? Healthy food. Healthy is an adjective. So, which word completes this sentence? Tea has been linked to many what benefits? Excellent. Well done, everyone. Tea has been linked to many health benefits. Next, what's the difference? Effect versus effect. Now, if you notice with the pronunciation, there really isn't much different. Effect, effect. All right. Now, when you're speaking, it doesn't really matter. because you can't tell the difference in pronunciation. But the issue here is in writing. So if you're writing an essay and you write the wrong word, that's going to be an issue. So what's the difference? Effect is a noun, affect is a verb. So effect could be, for example, an impact, a result, a repercussion. To affect means to make a change. So the effects of global warming are hotly debated. Noun. Global warming affects sea levels. Verb. Okay, affects sea levels, meaning has an impact on. So which word would complete this sentence? Excellent. Teenage drinking can affect brain function. Okay, it can change or impact brain function. What's the difference between little and a little? So this is something that is quite commonly confused, and there's little difference between them. So firstly, little and a little are both used for uncountable nouns, okay? So they're used to describe nouns that we cannot pluralize. For example, sugar. Sugar is uncountable. We cannot say sugars. So for example, I have a little sugar in my coffee. So it's only used for uncountable nouns. Little means not much or hardly any. A little means some, but a small amount. So it's a very slight difference in meaning. I have little time versus I have a little time. One is negative and one is positive. For example, if you say, look, I need to ask you a question. Do you have 5 minutes? And I say, look, I'm really sorry, I have little time. Meaning, I can't help you. Or, sure, I have a little time, I can help you. Money. Money is an uncountable noun. We can count dollars, we can count coins, we can count cents, we can count notes, but we can't count money. We can't say I have a lot of monies. So in this case, I have little money. I only have $1. In this case, this person is taking a little money, okay, some, a small amount. So which word then, little or a little, would complete this sentence? Okay, so if we have a look at the context of the sentence, there was something evidence to convict him of murder, so he was released. He was released, meaning he was not convicted. Okay, why was he not convicted? Because there was not enough evidence or hardly any evidence to convict him, so they released him. So which one of these means not enough? Little. Good. There was little evidence to convict him, not enough evidence to convict him, so he was released. So if we think of little, it means not enough, and a little means some. Now, the same goes with few versus a few. The difference is Few is used with countable nouns. For example, I had a few friends over for dinner last night. We can count friends. I can say 1 friend, 2 friends, 3 friends, 10 friends. I had a few friends over for dinner last night. Okay, or I have few friends. Again, few is hardly any. It's negative. A few means some, so it's positive. I have a few friends, meaning I have some friends. I have few friends, meaning I have hardly any, very small amount. So you can visualize it like this. Here's a few, and here's few. So which word would complete this sentence? Okay, the answer is going to be in the context of the sentence. So let's have a look at the sentence. Patients use weight loss medications despite FDA approval. The FDA is the body, the medical body that approves all medications, a federal drug agency or something like that. So despite FDA approval, meaning even though the government has approved these medications, patients actually use them. Good. So the answer is few, meaning not many patients use these medications even though the government has approved them. So we have to look at the context, the meaning of the sentence. Does it mean some or does it mean not many? Okay, what about here? Hear versus listen. So what's the difference between hear and listen? Hear is unintentional. We can hear background noise. I can hear a car in the street. I can hear music coming from the shop next door, but I'm not necessarily listening to the music. So listen involves intentionality. I'm paying attention in order to listen. So you can hear a noise or listen to music. Okay, one is passive and one is active. So here is a visual representation of that. To listen is when you're paying attention to something. You actively pay attention. You're trying to hear. Hear is when a sound just comes to your ears, whether you're listening or not. Okay, it's a passive action. So which word completes this sentence? Okay, so the answer is hear. A study has found that the blind can hear better than those with sight. So I can say to you, for example, did you hear me? And you can say, yes, I heard you, but I wasn't listening to you. So hearing, maybe you could hear my voice, you could hear a sound, but you weren't listening to what I was actually saying. You weren't concentrating on my words. The same thing with see and watch. See is inactive. Watch is active. So for example, well, actually I have an example here. I saw him on the bus yesterday. It's an inactive verb. I didn't mean to see him. I wasn't looking for him. He was there and I saw him. Versus I watched him on the bus yesterday. Now that's a bit creepy. That means that he was on the bus and I was watching him, looking at him the whole time, watching him intentionally. So when you see, it's something that your eyes do naturally without trying. Watching is when you try, you focus on something. So here again, see is when any stimulus from the outside comes into your eyes and your eyes aren't really trying. Watch is when you're trying to focus on something outside of you. So, which word? Excellent. Watch. So watch and listen are very similar. Watch and listen are both intentional actions. It takes effort to watch. It takes effort to listen. See and hear are similar because they're passive. You see and hear naturally without trying. Okay, let's move on. What's the difference between accept and accept? Accept, accept. Very minor difference in pronunciation. Almost, you almost can't hear the difference. The main thing is writing. We need to be careful of the spelling and using the appropriate word. So to accept something means to receive, and to accept means to exclude. For example, I accepted the gift. Someone gave it to me and I accepted it. Versus everyone got a gift except me, meaning I'm the only one that didn't get a gift. So, which word? Perfect. Except rodents, which are things like rats and mice, are found in vast numbers on all continents except Antarctica, so excluding Antarctica. What's the difference between borrow and lend? Now this is one that causes lots of confusion, to borrow versus to lend. So for example, if I say, can you borrow me some money? Would be incorrect. So to borrow means I take from you. To lend means I give to you. Let's have a look at an example. Can I borrow your pen? Meaning I'm taking your pen. Can you lend me your pen? Meaning I'm giving you my pen. Let's have a look at that visually. The lender is the one who gives, and the borrower is the one who takes. So this person is lending his box, and this person is borrowing his box. So which word completes the sentence? Well done. More people are borrowing money from banks. And then we would say the banks are lending money to people. What's the difference between loose and lose. So notice the difference in pronunciation. Loose, lose. Loose is an adjective. It means too big. Lose is a verb and it means to misplace something. For example, that shirt is too loose on you, meaning that shirt is huge, it's too big. Did you lose your shirt? Did you misplace your shirt? So let's have a look at this comic. I'm putting the money in my purse so I don't lose it. You mean lose it. You're such a loser. So what are the errors here? Two mistakes. Here we have an extra O, and here also we have an extra O. So which word completes this sentence? All right, still see a bit of confusion here. Loose, loose, big, lose, misplace. Okay, or put somewhere else, or shed. So what do you do with weight? Do you lose weight or do you lose weight? Good, you lose weight. So 1-0. What's the difference between economic and economical? So this is another tricky one that's commonly confused. They're both adjectives, but they're used slightly differently. So economic is an adjective related to finance. For example, economic growth, economic decline, economic benefits. Economical relates to saving money. For example, solar power is economical. You know, it's cheaper. Carpooling, instead of taking, you know, each individual driving a car, carpooling with people from your neighborhood is economical because you save money on fuel. So here's a couple of more examples. Raising taxes can have economic benefits. Okay, this is related to financial gain, financial loss. Solar cars are very economical, related to saving money or cost, being cost efficient. So which word completes this sentence? All right, the answer is America's youngest children most likely to live in poor economic conditions. Economic conditions, this is related to their financial status. And economic is related to finance and financial status. Economical, remember, is related to being cheap or cost efficient or saving money. So it doesn't quite fit in that sentence. All right, this brings us up to our final task. I have a list of all of the words that we've looked at. I would like you to choose the most appropriate word to complete the sentences in the paragraph. Note, you may have to change the verb tense. For example, add ed to make it past, or make it ing, or add ing, sorry, to make it gerund. Okay, so it's not just picking the appropriate word, it's also changing the form of the word to make it fit the sentence appropriately. So here we are, we have economic, economical, advice versus advise, noun versus verb, health, healthy, effect, affect, little, a little, few, a few, hear, listen, see, watch, accept, accept, borrow, lend, and loose and lose. Now, these are not in order. Okay, so number one could be any one of these. All right, so I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to complete this task. Just number your answers when you type them into the chat. Okay, time is up. All right, good. So most of you finished. Let's have a look. A few days ago, I was watching television when I heard an interview with the government's chief economic advisor. She was saying that the administration will have to borrow an extra $50 billion next financial year to keep the economy healthy. Her department is worried that the country will lose investors and was advised by the World Bank that increased expenditure would have a positive effect overall. She stressed that the Prime Minister had listened to the arguments for and against this course of action, but had accepted her advice in favor of the loan because it gave them a little time to effect positive changes ahead of the upcoming election. Okay, just a couple of things I noticed. A few days ago, there were a few people who wrote a few days ago. So a few days ago is the correct answer because it means some, an unspecified number of days, a few, I don't know how many, but some days ago. Also, it's an idiomatic expression, okay? So it's always a few days ago. I was watching rather than seeing because I was actively watching television when I heard an interview. So I wasn't expecting to hear this interview. So I wasn't actively listening to it. I was watching TV when I heard the interview by chance. It was the government's chief economic advisor. She was saying that the administration will have to borrow money. So the government usually borrows money from the banks, and the banks help the government to get out of an economic crisis. Okay, so the government is receiving the money, which means borrow. Lend would be the government is giving money. So they have to borrow it in order to keep the economy healthy. Her department is worried the country will lose investors. Lose is the verb. Lose is an adjective, and was advised by the bank. Here is the verb in passive form. That increased expenditure would have a positive effect. Effect meaning a noun. And we know it's the noun because we have the adjective here, positive. She stressed that the Prime Minister had listened to the argument. Now, there was a clue here that we knew it was listened and not heard because we have a preposition to. Always you listen to something or you listen to someone. Okay, you never hear to or hear to someone or hear to something. So that was a clue there of why we chose listened. And had accepted, meaning received, her advice, the noun, in favor of the loan because it gave them a little time, meaning some, a small amount, but some time to affect positive changes. Okay, and affect meaning being the verb there. Any questions about those answers that I haven't already addressed? Okay, I'm going to try to answer them all. Why not little time? For number 13, little time wouldn't be, they didn't have enough. Little meaning not enough time. But here they accepted it because it gave them enough time before the election to make changes. All right, and that's why they accepted the loan. So it's a positive thing. Little meaning negative. Yeah, so we could also say I was watching television when I saw an interview. Yes, you can, because it's on TV, so it could be something you could say I saw an interview or I heard an interview. Either one would be acceptable. Okay, we can't say a few times. we can say, I have little time. I'm very, very busy today. I have little time, because time in that sense is uncountable. But if I'm saying I have seen her 3 times this week, this is countable. I can count the times that I've seen her. In which case I could say I've seen her a few times. But if we say a few times, time always has to be in plural, because few is for plural countable nouns. The difference between advice and advise. Okay, I'll just repeat that. Advice is the noun. It's the thing. I give you advice, or I advise you. Advise is the verb. It's something that you do. All right, any other questions? All right, so well done, everyone. You did a great job. I hope that this raised some awareness of some commonly confused words. This will help you in writing more correctly and also speaking more accurately as well. So for more information on improving your vocabulary, you can check out the E2 Language blog. I have written a blog article called How to Improve Your Vocabulary, and it's got some really practical tips and strategies to help you become more aware of different word types, how to use them, and how to incorporate them into your everyday speaking and writing. This session is recorded on YouTube, and it's going to be saved into the E2 Language Core Skills Vocabulary playlist, so you can go back and watch it there. Thank you very much, guys. You're welcome. It's always a pleasure. Take care. All the best. Bye.